Hi guys, it's Richard James, your coach from Lift Up. I'm here today with another live workout, part of our series that we're providing free to people that are in lockdown to try and keep them active and healthy whilst they're shut in their own homes. Today I am going to deliver a workout we call Floorwork, which is stretching based or kind of movement stretching. It's a very popular class that we've run for quite some time at our facility. Here in Evesham. It's real time, so you can follow me. You can pause at any time as well if you want to kind of repeat some of the moves that we do. But otherwise, it's flow based, so just stick with me and I'll try to explain it as I go. There might also be some errors because it is live. All right, guys. Okay, so the first position we're going to start with is just with our leg tucked in. And the idea is really simple, that it's movement based. So I'm continually moving in that flow type passion. I've got one leg out and I'm trying to work that leg. So just like so. So as I come up the top, I bring my torso high, back down, brushing down the leg. And I'll feel that in my hamstring. Please feel free to put some fairly low level music on in the background. I'll try to talk a little bit, but not too much to take away from the class. Pinch. And when I pinch, I just turn my torso around, come back through. I'm using my hand to just apply a bit of resistance and push my torso around. Just moving that through my lower back. And each time on my stretch, I'm just trying to go that little bit lower. Really just trying to let the flow take the movement. Shouldn't be too fast. Just a little rhythm with it. I'm going to move to both sides. On this side, I'll use the opposite hand to push myself around. Pinch. As I come back up now, I'm going to keep it at the top, which means I'm just focusing on that rotation. Small movements, just allowing my torso to rotate with a little bit of resistance, but not enough so it's awkward. This time as we break, we're going to lift the back leg. Break, hold of the back leg, lift it out. As we come up, we lift the leg out. A combination of both legs really feeling a nice little stretch. And you're trying to the best of your ability to straighten that leg. Just working through both hamstrings. This time I'll take it to a double lift. Keep hold of the foot, take it out to the front. Then we bring it back. Down, take it out to the side, keep hold of it, out to the front. And just try and move with it. I don't really tend to have set reps. It's just a feeling really, you know, when you feel you're ready to move on. I'm going to add the third element now. which brings the foot up to my head. So I straighten my leg, and I'll touch to my forehead. Break it, out, forward, to head, break. That's one. And then I'm going to change to I pull the front foot forward. Front foot. As the foot comes, you pull it to your head. Break it. To your head. Got some crunching in my hips. Fairly normal. I haven't stretched for quite some time as well. This time I'm going to pull the knee to my side, just a little bit of resistance, pull the knee around. Break it. A little bit of resistance. Break it. This time as a break, I'm going to go behind my ear with my elbow. Hold on to my leg, take it behind the ear, touch your toe. That little extra hand on your thigh or my knee turns my torso, and you feel that just stretching in your lower back. As well as hamstrings. Starting to feel like that's loosened off for me now. Lovely, that's the first flow for that side finished. So I'll grab a drink and we'll change sides. Feel free at this point to practice any you want to practice or hit pause before we move on. So I'll try to do the same on this side as I repeated. We do change some of the flows each week, but they are fundamentally similar or the same movements. A lot of stretching is about that consistency and repetition of the same stretches with a focus on the same major areas which people struggle with, which usually hips and hamstrings and lower back. So I'm ready now. I'm going to move into the other side. I'm starting with that same movement, which is just bringing myself into the stretch, moving. Trying to move into the stretch a little bit more each time, bringing pinch, just applying a little bit of pressure to turn that torso, start moving, stretch through your back as well. If you're lucky, you can hear the birds tweeting from outside. I'm going to move that to both sides now. To get down, I use the opposite hand to pinch to the opposite side. Break in the middle. Each time, You're trying to push that chest through the gap, keeping that torso turning, and you'll feel that stretch move through your back. Feels like it's been ages since I've done this floor work routine. I'm going to stay at the top now. Just keeping the movement in my torso, turning, pushing the chest through the gap. As I break this time, I'm going to move into lifting the back foot. Pinch, break, lift the back foot, trying to straighten it. For those of you that have probably reduced your movement being at home, this really is a must. If you sat down a lot, you tend to be in that position where your hamstrings are tightening. Double now, I'm going to take it forward and straight leg. As you bring it back in, we break it, kick it out, forward. There we go. Now I've got myself positioned in the flat by a high wall, because we will be using the wall at the end. This is probably, we're at the third element now, the only class that I do where I feel like I've treated myself after it. You feel fantastic after a floor work class. It's very concentrated on those hamstrings and that hip, those hips, and that hip complex as I'm pulling it towards my forehead. Trying to stretch through my glutes when I'm doing that. Pulling it in. After this next one, I'm going to move to pulling the front foot. This one. Break, and then the foot comes high. That touches. And you really feel that in there. Feels like it's inside, but it's more in your glutes. Just that continual movement on the hamstrings does it the world of good. That's why we always break with the reach towards our toes. Last one, and then we'll turn the knee. Turn the knee. Push your chest through the gap. You really feel that. This time we're going to go behind the ear. Break, hold on to the knee. Reach behind, pulling the stretch into the, feels like the side of your back, which is your Q out. Probably a bit of your obliques at the side as well. Lovely. Okay. That's our first sequence taken care of on both sides. Give yourself a minute, grab yourself a bit of water, and then we'll move into the next stretch, which is going to be a split position. Split. I like to give myself just a moment in this position before I enter the stretches. Trying to just open up until you'll feel it stretching down the inside. Okay, again, it's a flow-based one, so it's movement. So apart from being statically in this position, we are moving in and out. It's going to feel good, this one, because it's been a long time since I've done it. This time I'm going to go starting there, brushing, just trying to be tidy and fluid with the stretch as I concentrate in moving from side to side, just exaggerating that stretch with each one. I'm going to stick to this side now. I stick, I bring my chest high and back, keeping that chest pushing up, making yourself nice and proud at the top. And we'll change, focusing on the other side, bringing yourself proud. There you go. This time, as I'm coming undone, as we focus on one side, we're going to add the pinch. So we'll go down, and I'm going to pinch towards the back, pushing my chest through that gap. Sticking it on the same side, push the chest through that gap, a little bit of resistance with my hands. Just turning and allowing my chest room to push through that gap. Last one, and then we'll change sides. Changing sides. I'm not following any particular set rules, as I said, in terms of reps, because you tend to find there's a bit of imbalance and one side is slightly tighter than the other. As soon as we come up to the top, I'm going to stay there, pinching from one side to the other, trying to get that rotation, trying to loosen off my lower back. I feel it through my hips as well. It's definitely the case that lots of people are tight rather than inflexible. Not that people aren't flexible, but you can certainly be flexible and still be tight. I find once I loosen up, I am very flexible, but I do find I'm also quite tight. Okay, we break, we pause. I'm going to use this opportunity to just open up a little bit further because I feel like I can. Take a moment, and this time I'm going to go high, and then I'm going to go low. Punch. The objective is to try to become as close to the floor as you can. As we go high, we brush down. A little while since I've done that. Again, I'm just trying to make it fluid. Trying to get as close to the floor as I can without pushing it too much. So I'm going to push my chest forward, push my chest high, there we go. Coming down and then pushing the chest high. Trying to just exaggerate that movement. pinch to one side. Pinch again, using my hands to resist and push my chest to one side. Taking a break from that, I'm going to up the pace by going slightly quicker. Just trying to move as close to behind the ear as I can get my arm. You can see my torso moving with it. Take a moment to come in high. This time forward. Try and give it a pause at the bottom on this occasion. Big exhale. Hold it there. Big exhale. Alright, that's the second flow taken care of. Give yourself a moment. If you know others, because you've been doing our classes some time, feel free to do those at this point in that split position. Otherwise, take a moment, grab a drink. You should already be starting to feel quite loose in your hamstrings, or certainly looser. We're going to move now into some 3D hip work based around an exercise that we call 90-90. It's called 90-90 because the mission really is to keep your knees at 90 degrees throughout. So if I have my hands back in a position sideways, it looks pretty much like that. I'm trying to keep my torso fairly high and use my hands to assist me. If I look down in this position, what I've got is I've got a 90 degree in that knee. I've got a 90 degree in that knee. It also helps if you have a flat foot following the line of your shin. There's a gap here. It's a little bit more awkward if we're there, and it tends to be a little bit more in your glutes as well if you're there, but we're trying to just put in a position where our hips, both sides, so the hip complex is moving evenly, and we're going to ensure that by doing 90 degrees. I'll bring my hands back to that position, and without doing anything other than pivoting my feet, I'm just going to rotate my hips, aiming to stick the knee down. Now both sides, ideally, you want your knees to be glued to the floor. It's an unusual one if you're not used to it. It's been a little while since I've done it, obviously during lockdown. But if you've never done it before, you'll probably find yourself shuffling forward quite a lot as your body constantly tries to adjust. As it almost always does, it finds the easiest route. And if there's tightness or imbalances, it will try to work around it. It's just what your body does. Find the easiest route. Now on one side, I'm just going to stick. So I'm going to keep that knee down and open that one up. And you really feel like your hips are opening, providing you keep that back knee glued down. I tend to get a few clicks in this position, I do. But after a few rounds of it, I tend to work through that kind of grinding feeling that you might feel in your hips. For a lot of people, this is a really awkward movement. Your hips should be able to move in these 3D positions. Look like that. I'm going to take away my hands as I just move back to the 90-90. Just trying to slow it down. Take away the hands. See, I'm having to make an adjustment then because there's a little imbalance and my body has adjusted, which I have to keep my eye on to make sure that I'm on top of those. Lovely. I'm crawling forward a little bit. Okay, as I bring my hands back, I'm going to move into what we call chest and knee, only because you focus on your knee and chest. As we come round, my hands come off, that front back knee is glued to the floor, my chest is squeezing high. Rotate around, hands go down, apply my hands on my knee, push my chest. I'm crossing, I'm trying to apply a bit of resistance to turn my chest around, and you'll feel that in your low back, in fact probably through your middle back as well as you're rotating. And if you manage to keep that back knee glued to the ground, you feel the stretch right up in this hip as well. Chest and knee, gluing both knees to the floor, lifting your chest. I'm going to stay at this side now. As I try to pinch back around, I'm going to try and feel a bit of a pinch here. Keeping on that one side, just turning through my torso. Keeping my knees glued to the ground. Trying to keep my chest as high as I can. As I break it, I turn it around. And I'm going to keep it this side now. Still always focusing on my knees being as 90-90 as possible. So I'm ensuring balance. I'm addressing those imbalances more importantly. This time I'm going to go back to the rock. As we come this time, I'm going to lift the front foot. There we go. Take it back. Lift. I'm trying to keep the knee on the floor as I'm lifting, so it's like that rotation. Yeah, some people really struggle with this, others not so much. There are lots of different things we can do in these positions. And if you watch more of these episodes of our free workouts that we're providing during lockdown, you'll learn some ones that you prefer, you'll learn some ones that you dislike. Feel free to modify as you go, but try not to avoid the ones that you really struggle with, because it usually means that there's a need to do that one. Okay, I'm going to break back into the rock. It's important not to focus just on the couple that you like or the couple that you're good at. This time I'm going to go forward, so I'm picking a side, sticking low, coming back up. Lovely. Feet, pick a side. Lovely. And if you watch my foot here, I try to have it slightly out, and then I'll feel it in my glutes as well. Lovely. Keep the 90-90. If anything, the front foot is slightly further out. Lovely. And keeping it as a flow is really important. Always returning back to this point here, which is rotate, just pivot your feet. Your feet should, if any, barely move, if any. Rock. Combination one now. Try and bring the hamstrings back into play. This time as we lock down, the front knee comes forward, straighten it out, then down to those. Return back to 90 degrees, hands go down, foot flies out, we sink down, 90. There we go. Combination, we're starting with hips, move it into hamstrings, keeping that back knee glued down, which will really keep that hip in play. Lovely, I'm just going to rock that now. Okay, give yourself a moment, take your time, practice any that you want to practice from that. And also, if you know some of the others, feel free to add them. If you have watched a couple of our videos, please feel free at this point to do ones that you're quite comfortable with, or you know is beneficial to you. Okay, I'm going to move into our wall sequence now. So you need to find a wall where your legs can fit up, and what you have to do throughout the base of all these movements is these are static, and we do tend to do these at the end. You can relax, you can breathe with them, you can kind of use them as meditation if you like, but really what we're trying to do now is use the wall to assist us with our stretches. So we took our bum right up to the wall and keep our bum on the floor. The first position will be legs up at the wall, kind of like an L position, but follow me. Again, if you know others, feel free to do those, but otherwise just follow my time and I'll take you through maybe half a dozen to a dozen of these stretches depending on how it feels. Okay. Obviously I'll be facing the other way on this one, so just listen to my 1 or 2 word cues. I'm going to try and bring my hands into a little stretch on a couple of occasions too. So I've got my bum tucked right into the corner of the wall. And then this time, I'm just going to relax my arms out. If you're somebody like me that has probably limited mobility in my shoulders, you should certainly use this opportunity to focus on some movement around your shoulders. But otherwise, just relax. Enjoy the feeling. Hands, feet, just trying to split my knees. Hands, a little bit of pressure. Feet, split. Hands, just try to have a bend in your elbow and let your forearm drop. You can add a rotation at this point. I find it's enough for me just to focus on holding that stretch where I've got a little bit of instability in my rotator cuffs. Just needs to be in this position. I'm going to relax my hands now as I move into quite a difficult stretch. As I pull one foot in, I turn the other foot down so it's on the floor and glue that knee to the wall. Second part is kick that leg out straight, as low as you can get it. Don't worry if you're not used to it, this is quite a difficult stretch to do. And you'll feel this in quite a lot of places actually, but try to remain as close to the wall as you can. You'll feel this on the hamstring on the inside and the hip, really opening it up. just relax. It's a position that tends to make you want to tense. Just relax. As we return back, you have shuffled out a little bit, try to glue yourself back to that wall and revert back because we're going to change sides. Just start with it split. This time tuck the other leg in, turn the other foot down, glue it to the wall, kick out as low as you can. And just relax. Everything kind of seizes up when you first do this. Again, I don't tend to follow any set rule really, just kind of around the feeling. 10 to 15 to 20 seconds is all beneficial. As I come out, I feel a bit better with that, so I'm going to shuffle closer. And this time I'm going to tuck one leg over. I'm coming towards the end now, so you can follow my sequence or you can repeat some of those that you feel is more appropriate towards your needs. I've got this leg glued to the wall, and the pressure is doing two things. It's opening up this side, but it's also applying a bit of pressure on my leg. Change when I'm ready. Just one more for me now. I'm just going to take my heels to about shoulder width, maybe just after, and I'm just going to drive them into the floor. And I feel that pinch in my hips. It's a great position to finish on, and just hold there, just soak up that pressure on your hips. Relax with it. Okay. In your own time, bring yourself out. Okay, guys, thank you for joining me. That was Floorwork, which is a self-devised concept. Hopefully you feel fantastic after that. It does feel like you've given your body a treat. You might even feel a little bit taller. Or if you stand up now and try to touch your toes, you'll find it feels great. You can do that every day, but failing that, join us on a Tuesday evening. I'm going to release one of these classes every week. Thanks, guys. Take care.